I used to like country music. I didn't like country music like I really listened to it. But every so often when I'd hear one of those songs about, she ran away from me, she took my dog and my truck, I liked it. I liked the story. I liked the story of it. And of course, you can imagine Swami had no interest in country music, just none. And I remember the day that I was able to say, I like it. And so just finding the point where I could just say, I like it, but without actually saying, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. If we have our own point of view, we have to also have the integrity just to stand in it. I just like it. It's something that's okay. But to say, actually, therefore, our relationship has changed, we're really different, I'll only accept you to a certain extent. And so Master writes, Swami writes, speaking of Master today, the power of attunement. Many of you will leave the path, but it wouldn't happen if you stayed in tune. That phrase has been part of the vocabulary of Ananda life since the earliest times that I can remember. And I've used it often, and I've heard people around me often, and then every so often I think, what does this actually mean? I've seen it play itself out. I can feel it in my own heart. I've watched the drama of it, but it's very, very subtle to put into words. I remember over the many decades that I've been part of Ananda, Swami would say sometimes, I'm very concerned because so-and-so is getting out of tune. That would be the phrase. And I would know exactly what he meant. In fact, in one part of that 12 years of litigation that we had to do, the attorneys on the other side, there's several ways that you can win in court, and one of them is to bankrupt your opponent so they just can't keep going. And so we were being sued by a very wealthy organization, and, well, let's just put it mildly, we are not. Okay, despite the comfort that you see around you, we just, as Ananda increased over the years, some of the accountants who took care of the monies, they were just going bankrupt with more zeros at the end of the numbers now. Not bankrupt, but just pushing it to the edge. We've never had the luxury of, we have the luxury of generosity and dedication. And attunement actually is what brings it to us. But part of one of those exercises that would cause us to spend tens of thousands of dollars, we had to make a list of everybody who'd ever been a part of Ananda, ever, since the very beginning. And I remember looking at that list, and it was so interesting to me because of the, there's concentric circles. So there was a very peripheral circle of people who just walked in and walked out. But there was sort of about 3 circles like this that would go toward the center. And almost no one who really moved into that, literally almost no one ever left. Once they sort of reached a certain level like this. And everybody who did, I knew why they had. There'd always been a little piece that they were holding on to. Just a little piece inside themselves of in this matter, I know better. That's Judas. In this matter, I know better. Most of us don't carry it so far. But nonetheless, that's what we're doing. We're crucifying our own attunement. You don't have to say, I understand and I agree. You don't just have to say, yes, sir, Swami criticized me. For he said, you always want to look good, so you say yes to me. But I know what you really feel. And fortunately, as I've told you before, I said I broke the right way. That's a phrase that has also been part of the spiritual life. Often you're pushed far enough that it just pushes you so far, and Master often pushes you that way.